Hi, how are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
You.
So Eric, for those of us who aren't familiar with the story, could you tell us what this movie is about?
It's about three people, an uncle, his nephew, and a mountain guide who take a journey. It's only supposed to be a half-a-day trip in Iceland to examine some caves and so forth. They get trapped and they wind up falling down a lava tube and retracing the actual journey that the original book, Jules Verne's Journey Center of the Earth, talks about.
They get in a horrible predicament. They don't necessarily like each other at the beginning of the story, and by story's end, they're really better versions of each other. That's the story. But the cool thing is, how are we presenting it to the audience? Don't answer that. In three glorious dimensions. And it's never been done like this before, because it's the first live action feature length comedy, action, adventure, drama that was always preconceived, to be shot in high def 3D. You wear some really cool looking shades, you sit back, and you feel like you're in the movie itself, if it's not coming at you. You become kind of like a character in the movie, if not feeling like you star in it.
So how is that different directing a 3D film from a regular 2D?
Well, you know, the place that is different is when you're planning it out, because I'm planning scenes that will really involve the audience, because I know they're going to get to see it in 3D. On the stage, it's all about making just a great movie about characters that we care about, and then after that's all done, we put in all the visual effects, all the sort of whiz-bang stuff that you read about, you want to see, but it's important because you're following what the characters are doing.
If you don't have a story that you have an investment in the people, you're just kind of like watching a light show, you know? If you think about it, and I know this for a fact because I've made a lot of vis effects heavy, intensive pictures in the last 10 or 12 years, and I've learned a great deal. And for my sins, I've been named an executive producer on this project, which I'm proud of. And I can qualify that by saying that what I've learned is that most importantly, what an actor needs to do, because they're going to be interacting with something that isn't necessarily there,
right.
They're surrounded by a colored cloth, blue, green, whatever. All they have to do is believe in what they're doing, so that the electronic element, the CGI element, can be merged with the actor's performance, and then give it to its audience, and so that they believe it too. And the thing about this movie that's really quite special is, it seems as if there's so many different ways that we can watch movies nowadays. You know, on tiny little screens, like on that massive one in front of the American Airlines Center, you know, that kind of thing, on demand. But in this case of this film, you actually must go to the cinema again. And I know it sounds kind of plain to say that, but think about it. It's an experience that you're going to be sharing with everyone, with your family, with friends you'll be making there, etc., etc. But the point is, you've got to go there. And you're there as a group. And it's a throwback to the days when going to the movies was a real event. Because what happens is, people feel, like I said earlier, they are in the movie. It's entertainment that's, well, 3 times more than you expected.
Yeah. I definitely jumped out of my seat a couple times.
Gotcha.
So, so did you have any challenges in any of the scenes? Like, did you have any real challenges?
Well, gosh, sure.
Every day?
Yeah. he put us through our paces, for sure. I mean, if you know, the stunts and everything like that are always tricky, and stuntmen are always standing by, and they're most helpful because they're there to make sure that you do things safely and no one gets hurt. But, you know, we got our boo-boos every here and there because it's kind of what we signed on for. We did the rappelling down a huge set piece. We were swimming underwater. We were dragged around on the ground, hung upside down.
But you're used to all that, right?
Et cetera, et cetera. Am I used to it? The answer is, in my off time, I like to sit at home in front of the fire with fuzzy slippers. I don't know if I ever get used to it, but the truth is I kind of do enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'll cop to that.
All 3 of the main actors were such sports that they said, we want to do these fairly dangerous, certainly exhausting scenes themselves. And I think when you're watching the movie, especially if you're seeing it in 3D, you can see it's them and you feel like you're right there with them.
Yeah, we were really like drowned rats after the rat sequence, I promise you. At one point it got so tiring that I pulled out an umbrella that I smuggled onto the set. Just because I thought it would be funny.
And it was.
So you love action movies, playing action superhero. do you think that in the future you would like to pursue any type of role, like more serious? I mean, I did see School Ties, by the way.
Oh, thanks. That was my first movie.
But do you think that you want to continue the action?
We'll see. I've been lucky to have had a lot of diverse choices in the career that I've had so far, and there are more thoughtful sort of movies that have ideas that ask people to, you know, are you a little bit more enlightened by what you've just seen? Yeah, sure, you are. Perhaps not. Are you talking about it afterwards, or are you just merely entertained by what you see? Yeah, sure. I mean, that's why I go to the movies. I love it. But I like to keep things well-rounded, you know, do a little bit of everything.
And just asking if you'd like to maybe give us a tease or something on the Mummy movie that's coming out?
Sure. Really quick. August 1st, set in China. Jet Li, Michelle Yeoh. Big excitement. Rob Cohen's the director.
Should we be expecting any surprises?
Lots and lots. I'm not going to give them away, otherwise it won't be surprises. But I promise you, one thing's for sure: it's not a thrill ride, but it does take you on an epic adventure above the ground this time. But stick with Journey 3D in the meantime until then.
Yeah, 3D was awesome. Thank you very much for speaking with me today.
Good. I'm glad you liked it.
Pleasure.